It's like not as interesting. So I find myself not talking about work as much and like connecting with people about other things that I have going on in my life. Um, but I mean, and of course it's, I'm still kind of in the honeymoon phase. I just was hired about 3 months ago, but I still like, while I'm at work, I'm very into it and engaged with it. I just sort of find that like it's harder to make it be part of my core personality just because like, I don't know, in the external like way of talking about it is kind of boring, like I don't know how
Hmm.
to talk about coding with other people yet. Who
Don't
aren't
worry,
also
neither do I. It's okay. You just get pigeonholed into, oh, so you fix printers, and you're like, yeah, I fix printers, exactly. You make the internet work. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. No, yeah, that's interesting because it really makes me reflect on experiences I've had, which are similar. That in a lot of ways, it's helped me be more of who I am at my core, and it really is a means to an end. Because what I heard you say a second ago there that I thought was interesting was just talking about, in a lot of ways, that work-life balance piece, that because your kind of core identity has always stayed the same, the desire to solve puzzles and tackle problems in that way, and that your profession or the career path you were on at different points in time was really serving that core need. But because that core need always stayed the same, it meant that you could transition between careers if you wanted to, as long as it was continuing to fulfill that core need. And it makes a lot of sense that you might go from here over to there, or to the path you're on right now,
Mhm.
and be able to, in a way, use that as kind of a demarcation of who I am. Because if I can transition from going down, kind of behavioral analysis and then into software and still stay who I am at its core, then it means that this is more so who I am. I am the problem solver. I need to know what competitive. Did you say competitive puzzles? I don't even know what
Yeah.
that means. Competitive puzzles. Because isn't
We show
every
up
puzzle
and
competitive? I feel like I'm fighting against myself as I am but
yeah,
I
yeah,
might
this
just
is
be the
basically
idiot.
speed jigsaw puzzling. So, everybody gets exactly
Speed
the same
jigsaw
puzzle.
puzzle.
They start a timer and then whoever gets it done first wins. So it's not as strategic, but it I'm also a very competitive person. So that's I don't think that's as factored into my work, but yeah, so
So
puzzles.
I'm curious, for others that might be considering a career change, any advice? Oh, here. Oh, it's okay. Do you need a break? Do you need a minute?
Yeah,
It's
just a
okay. Don't
minute.
worry about it. I wanted to ask about the advice you'd give to somebody who is considering making a change from one career path into software development, who may have no sort of association to software at all. They didn't do graphic design. They haven't done much with computers, but they've heard that software is a great career to get into, but they're really curious about, or they're really worried and afraid of, what am I going to do? How am I going to work through this? Do you have any advice for that type of person? Like the,
Um,
the things to consider, the things to work through, and how to think about making the change?
yeah, so I think that the biggest thing is there are so many resources online in terms of sort of trying out and just like getting a little bit of a feel for if this is something you're even interested in at all. Like, I think, oh my gosh, Julia. Okay.
So let's talk about the advice you might give to somebody who is considering going through a career transition, and for the sake of making it more dramatic and extreme, has never been associated to the world of tech and computers. They don't come from that industry. They've not made websites in the past. They don't do graphic design, but they're coming from something very different. And in here, what are some of the things to think about, to factor in, to consider as they're going through that process of making that change?
Yeah, so I think that one thing that I would recommend to anybody is just to check out some of the resources that are available for free online, just to kind of see what it's about and see if it's something that clicks with you or feels good for you. So I kind of started with a site called Free Code Camp. There's another one called the Odin Project, but both of those just kind of like hold your hand through some very beginning coding exercises. And for me, it was like, ooh, I just want to keep doing more and keep doing more and keep learning more. And so it really like felt like a good fit. Um, and so that, I think that would be my advice for like, well, what even is coding? Is this something that I could even do? I don't even know what that is. So that's kind of a nice way to get an introduction to it without having to make a huge commitment of any kind. Everyone's learning style is different. I do think that what's great about a boot camp is that it's provides a lot of accountability and support. So it's like you really have to show up every day and do the work every day. And I'm just not the kind of person who can teach myself that way. So I will say in my boot camp, I saw people from all different backgrounds and all different, sort of skill levels or previous careers who, ultimately by the end of the boot camp, different people were in different places, of course, but like everybody had learned some core skills. And, I think that it's, I would say that you can't expect to know everything by the end of a 3-month boot camp. I mean, there is a finite number of hours in the day, but if you're willing to make a commitment to it and kind of like put in the work and go a little above and beyond in terms of reading over your notes and studying and like spending some time at the end of the day to practice, and like those are things that I did during the boot camp that I think really helped me as well. But you know I don't know. I'm me, so I can't put myself in other people's shoes, but I feel like it definitely is doable for people who don't come from a techie background. um, but I do think that it's very worthwhile to you know, see if you like coding a little bit before jumping in. Um, and there's plenty of free, non-committal kind of ways to do that too, to kind of just get your feet wet and see what you think about it.
Well,
Um,
with that, let's wrap up. Renita, thank you so much for your time and telling us about your journey into this path or into this career from a completely different path. I think the levels of determination and commitment to make that type of change is one that we have to all honor. And I appreciate you for doing it. I think you're going to help make the industry better simply because you can bring all these other skills from this other career into this one, as well as enlighten us with your speed puzzle speeding, contesting.
all right.
Well,
Well, thank
excellent. Well, thank you again. Thank you very much. And to all of you listening, if you have or are more curious with some of the other journeys that other students have taken coming from things totally outside of tech, please take a look and listen through our other series on this exact same topic. So thank you so very much. And thank you, Renita.
All right. Thank you, Adam.